Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Psycho Killer. I don't know. There was a lot of hype of this when it was started in the movies, but now it's at a 4.7, 1,600 people rated it so far. So yeah, it's got poor reviews for whatever reason. Georgina Campbell's in it, and I think she plays um a cop that's going after some psycho killer, obviously that killed her husband, who was a highway patrol person. That's all I know about that. And that's all I know who's in it. Um, Sorry, I didn't. This just came out on Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. I didn't do my normal Tuesday. Here's what's out on demand. Is that the Masters? No big deal. So I didn't get to do that. But nothing else really, I think, came. Oh, The Bride was the other thing that came out. But I chose this one. I think that got bad reviews too. So I don't know. We're gonna get into it. It's only an hour and a half long. I'll see what it's if it's worth the hour and a half. I can't see how it can't be. Who knows? Stick around. I will let you know. You know? Okay. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Psycho Killer, and I have to say, I don't think it's a 4.7. I don't think it's a great film, but I think there's so much there that it gives it a lot more potential. I'll start off by saying I think the reason people had very high expectations is because the writer wrote Seven, fantastic movie, and the director did 8 millimeter. So I think there's higher expectations. For me, I think there's a good premise there. There's a good villain. There's not great acting, but I think they draw you in with all that. There's no real horror or scary things or jump or there's some bloody scenes, but there's nothing that keep you up at night, right? But as we know, it's this woman. The police, I'm sorry, state police are married, and her husband gets shot. That's Georgina, her character, and so she's going after this slasher guy. So we find out, spoiler alert, by the way, I'm not going to ruin the ending, but I'll talk a little bit more open about it. But we find out the slasher guy is a satanic guy, right? So he's doing this all for satanic reasons. He's driving from the West Coast over to the East Coast and just knocking people off and putting the symbols out there and stuff like that, which you've seen kind of this stuff before. But what they really do a good job of concealing his identity. Like they show him, but they don't show his face. Like he looks like the Undertaker, I guess. A really big guy with long hair, and scary looking. And they sometimes wears a mask, very similar to Hard Eyes, that kind of mask. And he has a voice. Now, I don't know. I kind of liked it, but then a little bit it was like, is it too much like Bane kind of thing? Like some people like the voice, some people don't. But I thought it was pretty cool. But anyway, he's coming across country. We don't know why he's doing all this, and that's what you want to know. I mean, sure, the cops chasing him, but you want to understand. And there's some parts where it's like, I don't know, they shoot out his back window, and that back window is full again. You know what I mean? They missed that, or I don't know, whatever, that kind of thing. And I didn't like the acting so much that was in this, but there's problems with it. The ending, we get to the ending, and while I don't know if I really like what his whole purpose was, I could learn to live with it, but I felt it was rushed. We get it's in Harrisburg, 3 Mile Island, which where I grew up. Not where I grew up, but I lived there for a couple of years. So I thought that was cool. But the whole, it seemed like when I was watching it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know the dramatic climax is coming, but there's not a lot of film left in this to make this, intriguing and bought in, and that's what I was waiting for. I'm ready for this big delivery, and it just doesn't happen, and it falls short there. It felt like it was like either they didn't know what they were doing, or they ran out of budget, or they ran out of ideas. I don't know, but it doesn't sit right with me. I think you could have done a lot more with this guy, with this character. As he's going throughout, I think Malcolm McDowell's in this, right? And so he meets up with Malcolm McDowell, and he's like a satanic leader of a little cult there. But I thought they overcheesed that scene up. I get the purpose. The purpose was the fact that the slasher is like true into believing what he believes, whereas Malcolm McDowell is just really kind of doing it for the girls and the drugs, right? And so he didn't like that, and I get that, but they cheese it up. I think his name Max Logan. I think was the one character that's in there that I liked him. Great. I just didn't think they wrote the right character for that sequence. I get it. They wanted to do what they did there, but I felt like he was a little aloof, and it didn't sit right with the whole thing. So but and then the security guards at the end, all that. There's all little pieces that I think you go back and look at. And I don't even know how filmmaking works. You know what I mean? Like, you go back and look at it and be like, let's change this, let's do that. I'm sure when you film the movie and you get to a point, it's like we can't do anymore because we don't have the budget or we don't have the time. We don't have Georgina anymore. She left to do another thing. I don't know. But I don't think it's a 4.7. I think it's the point of my whole thing. I do think that there's good in this film that I mean, it's not overly interesting, but it kept me engaged. Like I wanted to know what was going to happen. I wanted to know more about it. I wanted it to get deeper. It doesn't get any deeper. Like some of the other movies, like they mentioned, Seven. But I wasn't expecting a seven. But I was hoping for a 10. But there you go. That's what I got. I think I mentioned everything. Sorry, I'm a little rattled because I filmed this once and I realized it didn't record, so I had to redo it. So hopefully I covered. Oh, I want to say this. I mentioned about the villain in this, right? He has long hairs. I kind of said he looks like a Rob Zombie kind of character, but he looks like the Undertaker. Also, Buddy, I think his last name was right out. If you ever seen 3 O'clock High, check that out. That's who he looks like in this, and I thought they did it. I thought that was pretty cool. I really liked that aspect of it. But there you go. That's it. I think I covered everything that I wanted to. Hopefully, I didn't miss anything. But check it out. Let me know what you think. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.